All set?
Okay. And we'll see if people trickle in here as we get going. All right. Good morning, everybody. Hopefully you can see my shared screen. Thumbs up if you're good. Anybody? Okay, great. All right. Never know these presentations. All right. Welcome to a presentation on Google Storage, ways to organize and clean up your drives. This is something I've done a few times now at these breakout sessions. And this is something that CTS is continuing to emphasize as a major thing that we really want folks to understand and work on, not only within your own accounts, but hopefully with your departments and other folks you interact with on the campus. So with that, let's go ahead and get started. So I'm reusing some information here. Some of this is a little bit dated. So when I say Google's announced changes, yeah, they did a while back. But basically, the point of this is that Google, as a company, has imposed some changes, limitations on us as a campus and everybody else too in higher ed, among other places. So what that means is we need to kind of continuously adapt and change to what they're limiting us with. And namely, the big thing we're looking at here is that they are limiting the amount of storage we actually have as a campus. For a long time, and we started Google in 2010, for folks that aren't aware. We've been on this for now 13 and a half, going on 14 years. We've had a long while. We've been used to having, quote, virtually unlimited storage. That's not a thing anymore. We have to get ourselves into compliance within the amount of storage they are offering to us so that we don't have to pay a large amount of money to buy more storage going forward. And what that means for us as a campus is that we really need to advocate that folks should be working on constantly cleaning up, removing data from their accounts that you really don't need for whatever reason. Emails, things Google Drive, and you may or may not be aware that we do have the Google Photo service right now. And some folks do have data in Google Photos as well. And that does take up against all of our combined amount of storage that we have. For things that you might need for archiving purposes in particular, we really want to advocate that you find a way to transfer that data to something else, such as an external hard drive, that you can put into just like cold storage, basically is the term, where you know you've got it, but you don't need to have it constantly accessible within the contents of Drive. Now, if you do store personal files or photos or things like that, these are the things we really want to try to advocate that you remove from your Google storage with us as a campus, which you really should be using as a business type situation, and try moving that to a personal kind if you can. Now I say on this slide, we will begin looking at setting quotas. As of now, we have started setting quotas for some groups on campus, namely right now, the alumni department or the alumni group. So anybody that is at this point moved to an alumnus status with Oswego, their account has been imposed a 15 gigabyte quota. And if they are over that, they can no longer do anything with Drive or Photos or any of our services. And we are working with those folks at this point to try to get that down. I don't have a timeline at this moment for when we may consider this for faculty and staff or other groups. But I do want to note with the content of this presentation that you should think about the fact that at some point we may put a quota onto your account as well for the sake of our global Oswego storage that we have. So just keep that in mind. So now looking at your Google account, there's some things that we can offer as some tips to help you trim down your emails and your Drive. And I do want to note before I proceed with this, because there's going to be some tips and all that stuff through the presentation, I will make this available to anybody that wants it as a PDF. So you've got this documentation you can look at going forward. I've done this before, and what I just ask people to do is you can just email me directly, matt.burks@oswego, and I'm more than happy to share this with you. So you've got it going forward. And if you want to, share it with other people in your department as well. So I do have a document that's linked here directly from Google, which can tell you how to manage your files in Google Drive storage. Just the nature of how to share stuff out here. I don't want to click on this right now. But Google does have their own documentation on how to actually trim some stuff down. I want to focus on some of the tips I've highlighted here in each of these pages. One thing that I learned actually recently in the last year as I was preparing this presentation for the first time was this tip about how to do email searching for large attachments. And if you're familiar with the simple Gmail interface, it has that large search box on the top, which I assume people may have used for searching for various things in the past. What you can do, though, to help trim down your email, if you've got old sent messages that have large attachments, those do take up against quota. You can go into your email inbox or just your email and type in that search box has colon attachment space larger than whatever number you want to use. And we kind of say like 10 megabytes because that's kind of a nice number that you shouldn't have anything really large in your email more than that because that takes up space. And if you do that and press enter in that search box, you'll get some results back that might surprise you, depending on how many times you've emailed attachments out. Um, and you can go through, if you want to save the emails, you can do that. You can still archive those, but you can delete the attachments out into your trash and then, have that go away. And it will remove that additional 10 megabytes, whatever, of storage that you're using up as a part of your account. Now, when I say moving it to trash, that doesn't mean it's going away. Just like anybody that's using Windows or Mac OS, you're familiar with the trash or the recycle bin. If you have something in there, it's still technically using your storage, right? It's not fully gone. It's the same thing with your Google account, where if you put something into the trash, it's still technically there. So it's using your space, it's using our overall storage. So when you're going through this process that we're talking about today, we do want to advocate that once you're done with this and get in kind of the habit of doing this as well, make sure you actually go into the trash in your email and delete that, like fully remove it. And that will truly clear the account of whatever is actually in there using that space. Um, any questions at this point on anything regarding the email portion I've talked about here? Please feel free to put stuff in chat. I do see a question from Sandy. Technically, yes, it does. That does include everything in your email account itself.
Pat, this is Carlo. As far as trash, it's my understanding that it'll automatically delete what's in trash after 30 days.
It does, yes. So for most folks that are not really using a large amount, that's fine to let that cycle out.
Okay.
If you do go through a whole scale cleanup, that may be a case where you want to empty it right away just to make sure. But in the routine course of things, yeah, you can just rely on the 30-day rolling period where it clears things out. That would be fine. But yeah, Sandy, back to your question though. If you've got a lot of emails in your inbox or whatever, that does count toward this in terms of overall storage in your account. So we do want to try to advocate if you know you can remove things from your email, try and do so if you can. Because that certainly would help us overall. And actually, right here, this ties into Sandy's question. This is actually a snapshot I taken when I was doing this presentation of my own account before I started cleaning things up. And you can see the three main things that we look at in terms of storage. Yeah, you've got stuff in Drive. That's a granted. It does look at your Gmail and all of your emails as part of your overall data usage. So yes, if you've got 100,000 emails, that's going to count toward that number. And why we do try to advocate reducing it if you can. Yes, Sandy.
So, excuse me, I have no voice, excuse me.
No problem.
Where would we find that like picture that you're looking at right now?
Let me see if I can find the appropriate place for that. Give me 1 second.
Thank you.
Because I don't remember exactly where I found that. And I do have full like Google Campus admin, so what I see may be a little different than what you see. So I have to remember exactly where to locate that information. That's visible for all of you here. Where was that? See, if I look at a certain thing here, it shows me like the entire campus, which I don't want to show you because that's not relevant to each of you. Of course, I have to re-authenticate again.
Wouldn't that be part of settings though, Matt?
It might be, yes. Yeah,
Because that's where I generally see.
I believe you're correct. Yeah, you may just need to look around to find that in your own account, but I believe it does show that information. Just for the sake of moving on, I don't want to take everybody's time just while I'm searching through here, but I believe if you search through your account, you can find that information. I might have that highlighted here somewhere else too.
It
Do you-
might be in advanced, Sandy. Might be.
Yeah, it
So
might
you
be
can
under
check.
that, yeah.
Yeah.
Something I want to note here, and this is something a lot of people may not be familiar with, the reason I highlight on this page, is we do have the Google Photo service as a part of our campus, and some folks may have been using that to store pictures for either business reasons or personal reasons. And this does count toward our campus usage. I didn't highlight it here, but something that my supervisor has told me, and I will note this, is at some point we do look to turn off the photo service because it's not a business case that we really want to offer. People should be putting things into Google Drive and sharing amongst that way. And you really shouldn't be putting personal photos into your business account. That's what it really is with Oswego, as a business account. So if you do have anything under photos, we really do recommend going back into that. I think it's just photos.google.com. As long as you're signed into your Oswego account, you can get to that interface. Download those photos and albums somewhere else, whether it's to your computer or whatever, back those up, and then remove all of that stuff from your Oswego account. We really, really want to emphasize that as a way to get this quota down for the campus. I did see something else pop into chat here. Thank you, Carlo. Yes. So folks, take a look at the chat. Carlo linked some information here that would be most helpful that can give you what I'm showing here. Something else.
I have a quick question. I'm sorry,
Yes.
I was trying to raise my hand and it didn't work. I don't know.
No problem.
Because of what I do, I work for the theater department in the costume shop,
Mm-hmm.
and my personal drive is so full that I've had to move some of those photos because I have to do pictures of actors, costumes, mostly fittings and stuff, and keep them there through for process, especially with my student designers.
Mm-hmm.
And we have a lot of files of past shows that our personal drives get too full,
Right.
and that's part of the department. Is there a way that we can expand the department's number, or?
So what I would recommend for that case, and it may not be convenient to do this, you know, to start this process, but I think it would probably be the best way going forward, would be to take all of your photos that you need to save or whatever documentation it is and create shared drives instead of having them under your own account in whatever way. Create shared drives that you then share it to the relevant individuals, including yourself. And one of the things I'll get to with the shared drive stuff too is that when you create a shared drive, no one person truly owns that anymore. It's shared amongst all the folks, which is actually really helpful, especially with offboarding and onboarding people. And we deal with that a lot. So I do recommend creating a shared drive and putting your stuff into folders within that shared drive that you can then share out to all the people that need access to it. Now, granted, it's not quite as easy to see for the case you're talking about with like just looking through costumes and stuff like that as is Google Photos. But for the longer term, it would be a better method and a lot more organized and easier to share amongst people as you need to rather than photos, if that makes sense.
Oh, totally. Thank you.
Okay. Yep. All right, moving along. I do want to talk about something else related to your drive that you may see. CTS for a number of years has been using Google Backup and Sync, or a version of that, to back up computers, your computer, whether it's a laptop, desktop, or whatever, to your Google account. We started this before Google imposed these limits. And we're not going to change that right now, but it's something that we want you to know is there. So if you go under your own drive and expand out the menus, you might see something that says computer, just like this here. And then expand that out and you'll see something that says my computer or might have a name attached to it. And then you'll see some folders here. This is where Google Backup and Sync is actually backing up your files from your computer to your account. And this, what's nice about that is that it's still, private to your account. Nobody else can see that information. That's why we've been using this method. However, this does count towards your storage data too. So we're kind of between a rock and a hard place in some ways with this because we do want to back up data and encourage people to back up data. But at the same time, from this other side, we're being pulled with this overall storage condensing we have to do. So at this time, I'm just saying you have to turn this off. We don't want to say that, but just be aware that this is something else that does show up in your account and that does count towards the number that you have as your drive storage usage. All right, we have talked about Google Photos already. There's the link to get to it directly. As we talked about with Judith's question there, if you have a business case for keeping photos like that, create a shared drive, move them in there, and then share it out with relevant individuals that way. It still does count toward our overall usage, yes, but at least it'll get you off of using the personal storage and all the other complications that come with that. And of course, when you do this, again, when you're cleaning out stuff en masse, as we talked about before, make sure you do empty the trash at that point to help bring that number down. As you're just doing stuff on a daily basis, yeah, the trash will get emptied periodically, so that's not a big deal. But when you're doing cleaning, we do want to encourage emptying the trash to make sure that number updates. All right, the other big part we want to talk about here is Google Drive. So there's a couple different pieces to think about with Google Drive. You've got your own My Drive, and you have shared drives. So we definitely want to encourage you to go through and review documents you have in your own drive and pare things down if you can. If you know that you've brought something over from your own Google Drive, your own personal My Drive, into a shared drive, but you still see a copy of it in your own, delete that local copy if you can, because there's no point in having duplicate copies that count double towards our quota as a campus. It might sound like, okay, well, I have one PDF that's double. Why should I do that? Well, that can add up, right? So just for the sake of housekeeping and trying to help the campus as a whole, we do want to, advocate for that. I
Matt,
do have a couple of, yep, go ahead.
can you repeat what you just said again, please?
So
About the
basically,
duplicate.
there can be cases where you might have a document that originated in your own drive for whatever reason, and then you happen to duplicate that. It doesn't always happen this way, but it can. You may have duplicated that into a shared drive with other individuals. If you got that in the shared drive, then there's no need to keep that in your own My Drive, because then it's counting double still towards the overall storage usage. So you might as well remove that from your own drive.
So what about so for example, because I was a department chair, now I'm a program coordinator, I get a bunch of stuff sent to me, shared with me, I guess, from the registrar's office all the time. What do I do with that, or where's that go, or how does that count?
The shared with me is a very tricky one. Usually what's happening with shared with me is somebody creates something in their own My Drive, and they're clicking on your name to share it to you, but they own that. You don't. That's not counting towards you. What they ideally should be doing is creating a shared drive, adding you to that shared drive, and then sharing that information with you through that. That is something that is honestly a more recent overall scheme of things development. It's only been the last 3, 4, or 5 years that Google has changed toward that methodology. So a number of folks may still be used to the shared with me option where they create something in their drive and they share it out. If you see something like that, try to work with folks that own that file to create a shared drive, put it in there, and then share it out that way. That's really the way that we want to advocate. Especially because I alluded to this before, onboarding and offboarding. If somebody owns a file themselves and they leave, and then CTS goes through our yearly account suspensions and deletions, guess what? You lose access to that file. And then we have to do something to try to get it back within a certain time frame. And if we can't, that file's gone. So that's where we really want to push the shared drive methodology as opposed to sharing it out from your own drive. So on this page, I do have a couple of specific links about how to look at what you're using in your own account, and then how to look at what files might be using a lot of storage.
Matt, is there any way to search for duplicate files?
There's nothing really efficient that I found. I did have to work with somebody last year on this process, and unfortunately, it's burdensome. You really have to deep dive into it and see whether it's shared via a drive, like a shared drive, like in the listing of the contents, or if it says shared with me. It's very tedious. It's very cumbersome. There is no good way to do it, even for us as admins.
I
It's a
was
pain
just
in the
thinking
butt.
like on my phone, it'll tell me if I have duplicate photos. I can
Unfortunately,
delete duplicate.
it's not really convenient. There's not a good way to do it. It's tedious. And it's just the nature of the Google interface because they've done so many things over the years, improving their services, changing their services, but there's still all these older ways of doing things that they don't even give us these tools to do it. It's a real pain. So we do encourage you to do this, but there's not a good way to do it, unfortunately. And the best we can offer really are these tips that we're saying on these various slides. I do want to move along because I know we're kind of getting up to the point of the presentation ending here. With Google Shared Drives, I do want to again advocate this is a method that we support and really want to push for sharing things out there. We do always want to remind you too, though, that these also count towards our global storage. So as these shared drives build up, folks may leave or forget that they're there. Some folks may it just may disappear into the ether as far as they're concerned. So we do want to encourage folks, especially department related shared drives and other things like that. If you have folks that leave that had shared drives, try and make sure that before they leave, for example, get that ownership changed over to you or somebody else that can be a content manager or a manager of the drive as it's called, to make sure that that is still being kept going. If you know you don't need anymore, delete it, whatever the case may be, just to help kind of keep that stuff down as well. I do have a tip on this slide as well about how to view shared drives. That is a separate functionality. So you can look at all the shared drives that you have access to. You may not be a manager on those, but you at least have access to them. You could work with the person that's a manager to help trim those down as well if you need to. One of the things that we are doing with the account deletion process is if we need to, we actually will create a new shared drive temporarily with somebody that is requesting a file that was owned by somebody that left the institution while we still can. We'll create a new shared drive, put them in there as a manager. We'll put those files in there and say, here you go. And then we resuspend and delete the account. So it's kind of a hackneyed way of doing it to make sure we can get data within that certain period back to other people that may need it until that account expires for good. All right, let me check chat again real quick here. Will the photo option be eliminated for shared email boxes? Yes. If we turn photos off, it will go away for the campus as a whole. So we do recommend trying to find alternative methods such as shared drives if you can. Yes, I will definitely share my email again once we finish up here. Yep. So yeah, Sandy asked a question. If you go to these Google links, we'll know how to read your data in your SUNY account versus your private. So yes, it will. If you are logged into your Oswego EDU account, when you click on these links, it will parse that information for only that account. If you have a separate account that's logged in, and that's active, it will look at that account. So make sure you're logging in only with the one account you want to look at the time to get this information. That is important. Okay, and yeah, I do have a few more things linked on this last page here. If you do have certain questions about this, please feel free to reach out to us at the help desk. There are times when they will, if they can't answer it, it'll be routed over to my team. I'm a part of the server and identity team. Most of the time, I will take these tickets and work with folks as necessary. But please know that we're here for you to help you through this process. Again, if you want this presentation, as noted, please email me directly, matt.brooks@oswego.edu. I will send you a PDF copy of this that will have all these links here. I'm more than happy to. We're giving this pretty much like every breakout session because we find it's really important to go out there. So if there's no other major questions, I think we'll wrap up there. And again, let me know if you want this. I'm more than happy to share it. I don't mind if my
Yeah,
index gets cluttered up a little bit, but I'll get it out to you guys as soon as I can.
If you share the PDF, will that have the links that are active?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. Yep. Time frame for quotas. We don't have a time frame at the moment. The only one we've done is the alumni group, because that is a large group that doesn't have as big a business case for taking up our resources as the other groups, such as employees and active students and departments do. So no time frame on other groups yet. Alumni, though, we are working on that. We will have communication if and when that does happen, though. So be aware that that will come out from CTS. Anybody else? Okay. I think with that, thank you very much, everybody. Do appreciate your time. And again, let us know if you have any questions on this. We're glad to help out. Thank you and take care.
Thank you.
Thanks. Have a good one.